Hey, this is MassX with a brand new DC Dark Legions video, and I haven't done one in a while for this game. And the reason why I'm doing this was I was actually going to start doing some very light content with the game because I've been playing it since day one. I played previously before it had its official global launch, and I always do like to keep, an idle side game in my repertoire when I'm playing games. And then suddenly this game pulled two really big shenanigans over the last week, and I'm a little shocked by the lack of community outrage over one of the two items that came up. And those big two items that happened over the last week were increases in, and at this point for Android only, the pricing structure in the game, as well as alterations to the bleed, which is the summoning mechanism for this game. Now, in reference to talking about the increase in price changes, they literally gave little to no notice. It just kind of occurred, and they are stating it has to do with exchange rates because they use the France as their basis, and they wanted to make those adjustments because they don't occur regularly through Android or Apple. But there's some glaring red flags here, and one being that they made those changes to their website if you direct purchase from them, which has also been a big disappointment since day one because there's really no added benefit buying direct from them. Most companies add a benefit where if you buy direct from them, you usually get more or you get some sort of extra bonus in the game. They don't do that at all. Incredibly discerning, to say the least, so giving you no real motivation to purchase from their website. And then they made the change only to Android. In the case of where I'm located at, it went up approximately, I want to say 10%, give or take, but not on iOS. So if I want to make the same purchase where I'm located in the US, it's cheaper now to do it on iOS than Android. And I really don't understand why the community is more upset about this, because this really didn't make sense. And the reason why I say it didn't make sense is if it was true to the exchange rate, you would do it globally across the board. Also, too, why wouldn't you give the community a heads up, give them a warning, maybe a 2-week, 30 days, letting them know these price adjustments were going to go in effect, maybe increase some sort of bonus structure on your website, all that to show the player base that you really want to assist them with this, and this is not just for purposes of trying to eke out even more money from your players. But they didn't do that, and that's why it's very disheartening and making me consider backing away from this game now, because this particular company has a very strict refund policy. It's basically no refunds, period. End of story. For anything, for any reason, basically. And they have really gone over and above in the over monetization of this game since it's come out. And all the signs are showing this is very, very, lack of a better word, incredibly greedy from this particular developer. And why the community is not more outraged over this is really, to me, shocking, given the inconsistencies of what it has shown. And for me, I think it reads volumes. So yeah, I wanted to put it out there. I was going to start putting out videos touting this game, But now I just can't in good conscience, given the current situation right now in the game. And quite honestly, if you're a current player, you should be more concerned. And that brings us to the bleed now. Now, if you're not familiar, the bleed in this game is the summoning system for this. The rates are incredibly low, and quite honestly, it takes a lot of dupes. It takes a lot to build up your characters. Now, again, dupes are not something that are uncommon. Everybody's familiar with it, and this is an idle game, and dupes in idle games is even more prevalent. So that's not the problem. The problem is the rates, how long it takes to get guaranteed, and they now have brought forward a new system of adjustments for this bleed. And they did release this, and it was going to go into effect a few days later. The problem is when you break it all down, and I'm not going to sit here and give you all the figures and all that. If you want to do that, you can. There's plenty of people that have done it. You can go on the Discord. It's really not necessary. What it really comes down to is the changes equate to very little to nothing. It is much ado about doing zero for your player base. It helps your free-to-plays in a very minor way. It actually is a little bit more detrimental for your spenders, for when you are duping later down the line. But in the end, it doesn't fix any of the true issues. And again, to me, this shows something that is very discerning, because the developers in this particular case, giving them even the benefit of the doubt, really don't either understand how their system works, or they are trying to do something that isn't going to hurt their bottom line, let's say, in the end. And to me, this goes hands in hands with what's going on with what has now occurred with some of these price changes and the inconsistencies that are being shown. And for that, I would really, it's making me question if I'm even going to continue playing this game much further unless something changes over the next 7 to 10 days. Because as a player, you always have two choices, okay? Stay or leave. And I generally will leave a game if I feel that the progression by the developing staff isn't in a way going to be, in the end, less respectful and detrimental to its player base in the long term. And what they are showing by their continued over monetization of the game, price increases, making changes to the summoning system that really are not true changes in the end that alter that much, is very concerning. But again, what is more concerning to me than even that is the lack of outrage from the community. Now, I will say, in reference to the bleed, there's been a lot more discussion and concern and unhappiness, but I think they go hand in hand, like I said, and you should be upset over both, because neither makes sense logically to the game and to its player base, and their failures to address it in a way to the community in advance, being very transparent, is very, very disrespectful. And to me as a player, I take that personally, and the only recourse to ever really hurt a developer in the end is by not spending money, as well as stop playing their game. And why is it important to stop playing their game? Well, because they need those players to keep people interested. They need that player time to help show in their analytics, the popularity. And so just not spending a lot of time is not enough. Not spending and absolutely walking away from a game does more. Now again, if it's a handful of people, it's useless because they don't care in the end. It has to be a significant amount. And to me, why there's no discussion of a mass boycott or something along those lines in this game is really shocking. And you know what? I don't want to play a game in a community that isn't going to stand up in the end. So I wanted to do this video because of these concerns and put it out there if you're somebody that was looking at this game to really investigate whether you want to dive into it at this time, because it is very concerning right now. And again, this could all change. They could step up, they could come forward to the community, make better adjustments, maybe make some more adjustments to what they're touting as these changes in prices, maybe offset it with their sales on their website. And why do I say that? Because they have to pay iOS and Google approximately 30% of all purchases. They don't have to do that when they're doing their website. So why are they not giving us some sort of encouragement or help? But no, that to me shows greed, and to me shows a developer that is only concerned in the end about their bottom line. So those are all things that really are huge red flags, and for me makes me consider right now, if nothing changes, walking away from this game. If you are playing this, what are your thoughts on this? And if you were consider playing it, yeah, please be informed before you step into this game currently until something comes forward in the community. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.